Yorobun Anyonga Shimika. Daddy Cliff channel eso Wanyong Hamida. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daddy Cliff channel. In today's video, we are going to look at the Global Career Scholarship Undergraduate version, or the GKSU, which is expected to be launched sometime in September or October 2023, but you will have to travel to South Korea sometime in February or March 2024 to begin your bachelor's degree. That is in case you succeed in the scholarship application. It is very important for you to know first the aim of this scholarship, which is for you to promote South Korean culture or South Korean multiculturalism to the world, which means basically that after graduating from your 4 years bachelor's degree, if you decide to go back to your home country, you will be acting as an ambassador for South Korea in your home country by promoting South Korean culture in your home country. It is very important to take note of the aim. Now, I have been living in South Korea since 2012, and I believe I have a lot of experience about scholarships in South Korea, and it is very important for me to state here that GKS, or the Global Career Scholarship, is just one of the many scholarships in South Korea. Just as there are many universities in South Korea, it is important to know that South Korea has more than 300 universities. So it equally has many other scholarships that do offer way more better benefits, even more than the Global Career Scholarship, which is the government scholarship of South Korea. In this video, if you think you really want to succeed in your Global Career Scholarship, you might want to stick to the end of this video. But the things that I would say in this video are not meant only for undergraduate students. They can equally help graduate students. So if you are a graduate student watching this video, you might want to stick around and watch. I'll see you in a bit. Now, let us begin by looking at this question that keeps on coming. Which document can I use to prove my nationality? It is very important for you to note that the Global Career Scholarship has guideline information that you must follow. For you to be eligible for this scholarship, you're not supposed to be a South Korean national. First, I will advise that you use your birth certificate to prove your citizenship. It is very important that you prove your citizenship because the Global Career Scholarship is meant for foreigners. That is for those who do not carry a South Korean nationality, not just the person applying. Your mom, your dad, that is your father and your mother, are not equally supposed to carry a South Korean nationality. And the only way for you to prove is by using your birth certificate. Your birth certificate will carry the name of the country in which you were born. And if that country is not South Korea, then good. It will carry the name of your mother and the country in which she was born. It will carry also the name of your father and the country in which he was born. The only exception might be if one of them is deceased, dead. Then you would have to provide a document to prove that either your father or your mother is dead. But in case you do not have a birth certificate and then you have a passport, the only problem we have with passports is that it will carry your names and then it will carry your country of nationality, but it does not have a space for your mother. In that situation, you would equally have to provide the passport of your mother and the passport of your father, and it should equally carry their country of birth or nationality. But if you know that you're using their passport, know that you would have to authenticate, you would have to notarize them before submitting them for admission to get the Global Career Scholarship. I hope this clears the situation of which document should I use to prove my country of nationality. Also, before I forget, there is another document called 가족 증명서. That is a family registry document. In South Korea, it is easy to get that document from the council. I don't know about other countries. Some countries do have that document. That document will actually carry your name, your country of birth. It will equally carry the name of your father and your mother and also their country of birth. Like I said, the reason why you need to prove your citizenship is because this scholarship is not for people who carry a South Korean nationality. So it is very important that you provide either your birth certificate. If you don't have a birth certificate, then you would have to provide the passport of your mother, your father, and your own, or you provide the 가족 증명서 or the family registry certificate. The second question that keeps on coming is, where do I get my documents authenticated or notarized? It is very important for you to know why you are asked to provide an authenticated document or original document. Do not get confused. We'll come to that later on about the issue of providing an original document, because some people are always asking, do I need to provide my original document? Why do I need to authenticate my document or provide a notarized copy of my certificates? It is to prove that the documents are not fake. So I know authenticating document means money. Believe me, getting a scholarship requires your time and money. You should be ready to sacrifice your time and money to get your documents authenticated or legalized. It is for you to prove that, okay, these documents are not fake. That is why they would require you to go, for example, in countries like Nigeria or even Cameroon and some other African countries, you would have to go first to the court and then get an affidavit of the documents. And then the next thing is that you would have to go to your Ministry of Education, your Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get their stamps or their legalized stamps in those documents before proceeding to the Korean embassy or Korean consulate, or for the case of Nigeria, you would have to go to South Korean Cultural Center in Nigeria, Abuja, to authenticate those documents. It is very important that you know the reason as to why you have to authenticate your documents, because some people are asking, can I not just send photocopies of the documents and then get the scholarship? No, nothing proves that those documents are authentic, that they are not fake. The only way for you to prove that your documents are not fake is for you to go to your court, get an affidavit of the documents, that is the documents that you would use to apply, like your degree certificate, your transcript. And it is also very important to note that if you have not yet graduated, there's a probability that they might want you to provide but the final graduation document, because that's how it was last time for graduate students. We don't know. That is why sometimes we tell people that it's difficult to tell, because we have to wait for the application guideline to come out. But do not wait before authenticating your documents, especially your degree, your transcript, and then your documents to prove your citizenship. It is very important, because those documents take a lot of time for the embassy, consulate, or the different offices that you have to go to for them to authenticate those documents. So if you have not yet started with the authentication process of your documents or notarization process of your documents, you should go ahead and start doing them now before they launch the scholarship next month, that is in September or maybe October. Again, there is a difference between consular authentication and notarization of document. I'll provide a picture here of one of the documents that I did notarized once at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Korea called MOFA. You can see the stamp up in the document. It is different from the South Korean consular authentication. It is almost the same, but it's different because they would actually join all the documents and then put a stamp behind. Once they have put that stamp on it, the document becomes original. So when they say send original copy, they mean authenticated or notarized copies. Notarized copies, which means you have your document that was given to you by your university or your high school. You make a photocopy of the document. It doesn't matter if it's colored or black, and then go and get those stamps on those documents. Those stamps are just to say that, okay, we have seen the original document, and then we are making another copy to prove that this document that you're receiving were made after we saw the original document that came from your school. That is why they call it original copy. You have your main one that came from your school, and then you made a photocopy, went to the court, got a stamp on it or affidavit from it. You went to your Ministry of Education, got a stamp on it. You went to your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, had a stamp on it, and then you finally went to the consular. The consular joined every document and then equally put their stamps on it. It now makes it original. It is that document with the different stamps from the different ministries that you would have to photocopy 3 more copies and then apply for embassy track. Because people always get confused. Do I need to make 1 original and then 3 photocopies? The 1 original that we are talking here is the one that has gone through your court. For example, for those who are from Nigeria, the ones that has gone through your Ministry of Education, the ones that have gone through your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and then finally ended at the Korean consular office or embassy, or for example, the case of Nigeria is the Korean Cultural Center. that is in Nigeria, Abuja. Do not make a mistake and go and send your original documents that you received from your school. Don't send them. I hope this point is clear. Another question is, what is the difference between embassy track and university track? Because the Global Career Scholarship, be it graduate or undergraduate, has 2 tracks. Embassy track, as the name implies, means you send in your documents for admission through the embassy. The embassy is the one that will have to talk with the university, and then they will decide on giving you the scholarship, which is why you would have to provide one original, that is the authenticated original, and then make 3 photocopies. They will keep the original, and then the other 3 photocopies from the original that were made will be sent to the universities. So the embassy and the university will have to communicate and then decide on who gets the scholarship. That is why they call it embassy track, which means you would go through the embassy, and the embassy track has different processes. Once the embassy and the university have decided on who is getting the scholarship, they will then submit your information to NIEED. NIEED is the National Institute for International Education in South Korea. They will then decide also on who gets the scholarship. They have their own screening process that they will go through, and then finally decides on who gets the scholarship. But then university track means that you will have to authenticate your documents. That is, after going through the process of going to the court, getting an affidavit, going to your Ministry of Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and then finally ending at Korean consulate or embassy, or for example, the same situation, case of Nigeria, Korea Cultural Center in Nigeria. You would then send that document straight. You would post it, you would put it in an envelope, and then write the university address, and then post it directly to the university in South Korea. If you do not know how to go about getting the address, I have a video that I'll put at the end of this video. You might want to watch that video and then see how you go about searching for the university address. I have other videos on my channel on how to even look for your majors that will be offered during the application for the Global Career Scholarship. But then you have to be very careful. The conditions change every year and the majors equally change. So don't go and prepare for a major that might finally not be there when the scholarship will be launched. You have to take into account that. Simply put, embassy track means you apply by sending your document or handing your document to the embassy, while university track means after you must have equally authenticated the documents, you send them directly to the university in South Korea. The university will be the one that will decide. They will screen you. If they want, they will interview you, and then finally decide on giving you the scholarship. Once they have made that decision, they will be the one that will provide your name now to NIEED. That is the National Institute for International Education in South Korea. The good thing about university track is that NIEED will not screen you. The university simply submits the names of those who they've decided that will get the scholarship, and then NIEED will just contact you and then offer you the scholarship. But for embassy track has the university and the embassy screening you, and then NIEED will equally screen you. If you ask everybody, they will tell you that university track is way easier than embassy track. First, because university track usually has more seats. For example, embassy track might have only 3 seats for a country like maybe Nigeria, maybe 5 seats for a country like India. But then if you go to university track, they might have 5 seats for a country like Nigeria, and then maybe 10 seats for a country like India, because they equally take into account the performance of students. So you have to, like I said from the very beginning, you are an ambassador to your country in South Korea. You're coming to learn South Korean culture. If you come to South Korea and you did not put in effort to study and succeed in your education, know that you will be blocking future people from your country who would want to get that scholarship. So you must make sure that when you come, you learn the South Korean language, and then make sure you equally excel in your education, so that those who would want to apply maybe next year, when the South Korean government will be deciding on the quotas, number of people that they will accept from the different countries, they might probably decide that, okay, students from Nigeria, when they come for this scholarship in South Korea, they actually take the time to learn the language, and then they succeed in their studies. students from India, when they come to South Korea, they actually learn the language and they speak the language well, and they equally make sure they graduate from their program, and some of them equally go as far as getting a job. That speaks good about you and your country. And then they would probably decide now that, okay, let's take, instead of taking 3 like we did the previous year, let us increase the quota to maybe 5 this time. Let's take, for example, India. The quota was 5 last year. Let's probably increase it this time around to 7 or 8. So it is very important that when you're going to South Korea to study, you make sure you put an effort to study well, so that you don't block people who might be interested in studying in South Korea in the future from going to South Korea to study for free. Very important. That is why we say sometimes that the university track is better, because the number of seats are more. And also, as another tip, if you want to decide on whether you are applying for embassy track or university track, there is this important thing. If you have some advantages, like for example, you have topic, that is test in Korean language proficiency. If you have maybe level 1, 2, 3 or 4, go for embassy track. If you have any Korean experience, like maybe a lot of extracurricular activities, for example, some people have experience working for some cultural centers in South Korea that are abroad. Some people work for maybe K-pop online. There are different forums about South Korea online where people have obtained certificates. People have had experience about South Korea. Some people have worked in a lot of cultural centers. If you've had those advantages, go for embassy track. I repeat, if you know you have things like Korean language proficiency, you have English language proficiency, like maybe IELTS, TOEIC, and then you have a lot of extracurricular activities, like you volunteered for maybe South Korean organizations, you've worked for maybe different K-pop groups that are online, you've worked for different South Korean Facebook groups that are online promoting South Korean culture, go for embassy track. It gives you an advantage. If you have a lot of extracurricular activities that you've done about South Korea, go for embassy track. It will give you an advantage over others, because it is very important for you to know that embassy track is very competitive because of the number of seats that are small compared to university track. Like I said, embassy track might have 3 students for India and Nigeria, but they might have 5 students for Nigeria at university track and maybe 7 students for India at university track. So you have to take into account some of those things when applying. Now let me answer some of the questions that were left on my video. For example, Muanaran said, "Thank you so much for this video. I have one question. Hope you can answer it. I'm gonna do art major and need to put documents my portfolio. Question: where do I put it? After what exact document? Is it need to be at the end after passport or somewhere else? One more time, thank you. Very helpful info." Now, this is what I always tell people. I know in most cases you have to label your documents. For example, this is the application form, this is the statement of purpose. Following the documents numbers, you have to like place them in order. But let me tell you that that is not what is going to give you the scholarship. If you order your documents well, you classify them well, and you have a rubbish statement of purpose. Rubbish here means your statement of purpose is not good. It does not attract the attention of the person reading it. The person started reading it and the person was like, what is this thing that this person wrote? You do not have a very good study plan. It doesn't really matter if you place your documents correctly. If you follow the lining, like this one has to be number 1, that one has to be number 2. Do not worry about portfolio, where it has to be, because portfolio is not on the list of documents, but some universities might require you to provide a portfolio, especially if you are going in for an arts major, like maybe acting, drama, stuff like that. They will want to see your portfolio before they decide on giving you the scholarship. It doesn't really matter. Provide the portfolio if you have it, but the position does not matter. What matters is the content. If you have good grades, good. If you have good statement of purpose, if you have good study plan, if you have, for example, an English proficiency like IELTS, TOEIC, you have Korean language proficiency, those documents and the score are more important than if they are followed their classification. So for example, let's say you have exceptional scores for those who are going for undergraduate degree. During your high school, your scores were good, and then your statement of purpose is very excellent. your study plan is also very excellent. You have a very good portfolio. You've had a lot of experience. You have a very good level of Korean language proficiency, let's say level 4. You have a very good level of English language proficiency. Let's say you had like IELTS, you had a score of 7. Those things will help you get the scholarship and not the positions of your documents. So don't worry about those things. If your documents are not very good, you will not get the scholarship. It doesn't matter if you classify them well. Next question. Same question too. Should we submit it to university directly or embassy should see it too? Okay. It is very important that it depends on the track that you are applying for. If you are going for embassy track, know that with embassy track, the embassy has a list of requirements that you have to provide. But also know that for any major that you are applying for, the majors do have their requirements as well. So you would have to go to the major. For example, let's say you want to study drama. You have to go to, let's say, Seoul National University. You want to study drama at Seoul National University. You would have to go and look at the requirements to study drama at Seoul National University. If one of the conditions is portfolio, you would have to provide all of those documents, including the portfolio, directly to the embassy because you are applying for embassy track. Now, if you are applying but for university track, you would provide all of those documents, of course, after authenticating them. That is, after legalizing them, going through the process of legalization, which we talked about. You gather the documents, put them in an envelope, write the university address, and then go post them maybe to your postal office or maybe DHL directly to the university. So it depends on the track that you've decided to apply for. University track means your documents go straight to the university. Embassy track means you hand your documents to the embassy in your home country. It is very important that you take into account that. Next question from Abigail Ayuba, 5791. Thanks a lot. Please, why don't they return original documents? Please reply. For this question, let's say your university cannot provide you multiple copies of your certificates or transcript. That will mean if you hand it, you will no longer have any other document, because immediately you hand the documents to the university or to the embassy, it becomes the university or the embassy property, which is why you're not supposed to send your documents if you know you cannot get a replacement. Now, in the documents, they've said original. Original does not mean your original documents that you received from your high school or your university. Original means legalized. Original means authenticated documents or notarized document, which means you took the document that you had from your university, went to the court, got a stamp from them, went to your Ministry of Education, received a stamp from them or got it legalized, went to your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, had it legalized, and then you went to the consulate and then received the consulate stamp on the document. Before they were putting the stamps on those documents, they saw your original documents, which means they are now producing another original document from your original document that they saw, which means they saw your document before putting a stamp on the photocopy that you provided to them. When they provide a stamp on that document, it becomes an original document as well. So the document that they are calling original, it is the photocopy that they've put their stamps on it. It is the original document that the court placed an affidavit on it. Your Ministry of Education placed a legalized stamp on it. Your Ministry of Foreign Affairs placed a legalized stamp on it, and then you went to the Korean consulate and they equally placed a legalized stamp on it after seeing your original document. So the photocopy that they've placed stamps on it also becomes original. That's what they mean by original. Do not go and send your document when you know you cannot get another one. It is very important. Do not make that mistake. Original here means photocopy that has gotten stamps from the different offices that I have talked about. Next one, I appreciate, but we are not supposed to submit one set of original document and 3 sets of photocopies for embassy track. I think here this person is trying to find out if they are not supposed to send in one set of original documents to the embassy and then photocopies. Like I said, you have to provide photocopies of your original documents. You have to hand it over to, for example, let's take again Nigeria. I don't know about other countries. You will make a photocopy of all of the documents that you have to use for admission, and then now go to your court to get an affidavit on that document. And then you will now go to your Ministry of Education to also get a legalized stamp on those documents. And then you will now go to your Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get another stamp on those documents that you photocopied. And then you would equally go to your Korean consulate or embassy, or maybe cultural center that is responsible for document authentication. They would equally have to put the consular stamp on your document. But know that they only do those things after seeing your original documents. You had an original, you made photocopies, and then on those photocopies they've placed stamps on it. Once they've put stamps on those photocopies, the photocopies are now considered original documents. It's not like the original one, but the photocopies become original because they've received stamps on it. That is the document that you have to now make 3 sets of photocopies on it with the stamps that you've received on the different documents. They should be on the photocopies. You make 3 different sets plus that one original, and then hand it to the embassy, and then you would go home with your main documents. Don't get confused with this point. Email Daito4787 says, thanks for all you do. I have a question. Need stated that no document submitted will be returned. So how will I submit my original document if I won't get it back? Like I said, you had your original document from your university. You made a photocopy of all the documents that you would use for admission or for the scholarship. You took the photocopies plus your original document, went to the court. Let's say this person is from Nigeria. You received an affidavit stamp on that document. You went to your Ministry of Education, received a legalized stamp on the document. You now went to your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you received a stamp on it, and then you finally took the document to your Korean consulate in your home country, and they equally looked at your original and they equally placed their stamp on the document that the court, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs had already placed their own stamp. They will also put their own stamp on it. That is the document that will become your new original document. That's the document that you would have to make photocopies of all of the documents and then submit it to the embassy if you are applying for embassy track. So you will submit that original document that has received the different stamps, or the photocopy that received the different stamps from the different offices. You make photocopies, 3 sets each, and then submit to the university. It's easy, it's not difficult. Don't send your original #1 document that you received from your school to South Korea. It's the photocopies that had received stamps that you would make another photocopies from those photocopies, and then as easy as that. Next, Stephanie Amos 5508. Daddy Cliff, please, which document should we authenticate if we can't send the original, since we won't be getting back the original? It is the same thing. It is very easy. Like I said, you take your original, make photocopies, and then go and receive the stamps on them. They would become original. They will be considered also as original. Next question. Dan XXX7 says, is submitting birth certificate mandatory? Cause my birth certificate is issued from another country, but I hold citizen of another country. Which is the alternative document I can send? About birth certificate, let's say you were born in India but your parents are from Pakistan, which means you hold a Pakistan passport but your birth certificate is from India. It doesn't matter. India is not South Korea. Like I said, this scholarship is for people who do not hold a South Korean nationality. They just want to see that you are not from South Korea. So if you provide a document that shows that you were born in India, that is, your birth certificate shows that you were born in India, it's okay. But the only problem is that that document that was issued in India will have to be authenticated by the authorities in India, which means you would have to go to India to authenticate that document. But in case you don't want to go to India to authenticate your birth certificate, you can then decide to use your passport, your parents' passports. That's your mom and your dad. You can authenticate their passports and then use it. As simple as that. It's not complicated. Next question from Jane BK5ZM. Please, sir, I want to ask a question. If I go to consulate, my document will I consulate both the original and photocopies? I want to submit or just the original and photocopy. It's because there is a place in the guidance where they said simple photocopy of consular confirmed documents will not be accepted. Please help me out. Okay, here you have to follow the rules. It's simple. Like I said, you have your original documents that you received from your high school graduation, or maybe for those who are applying for graduate scholarship, you did your bachelor's degree, you receive your degree certificates. That's the document that you would have to photocopy your high school graduation certificate and transcript. You make photocopies, add them to the other documents that are required for admission, and then go to the different ministries that are in charge of authentication, get their stamps, and then finally go and hand it to the Korean consulate in your home country. The Korean consulate is also supposed to see your original and then see the photocopies that you've made that have already received stamps from the different ministries. They will also put their stamp in the photocopy. When you make that photocopy, that is a document that you would have to send to the university if you are applying for university track. But if you are applying for embassy track, you take the original document, that is a photocopy that has received the stamps from the different ministry plus the Korean consulate in your home country. You make photocopies of that document, forgetting your original. You're not supposed to touch your original document, because if you send it to Korea, you will not receive it again. You take that document, make photocopies of it, 3 different copies, and then hand that document that has received the stamps from the different ministries that I've talked about before, and then add it to the photocopies and send. You're not supposed to just take your original document, make photocopies and send them to the embassy for admission. No, you're not supposed to do that. That being said, guys, I think this video has been very long. Again, like I said, the process is very simple, it's easy, but I know the stress about scholarship. Students want to avoid the cost of authenticating documents or notarizing documents. That is why they try to give excuses. But like I said, getting a scholarship requires you to sacrifice your time and your money. To authenticate documents require you to pay for them to put their stamps on it. It will cost you money. It will cost you your time to travel, especially if you do not live in the city centers where you have Korean embassies and consulate, or the offices that are responsible for producing an original of your original that you would use to apply for scholarship. Know that if you want to have a scholarship, you have to make sure you increase your chances. For example, you have to probably enroll to study Korean language, because it will give you an advantage. When they are considering people for scholarship, they take into account your grades, they take into account your language ability, be it Korean language, be it English. Those things will give you more points. They take into account extracurricular activities. Do you have a mind of somebody who wants to serve others? Because the purpose of the scholarship is to educate you and then give you the opportunity to go and educate others. Are you interested in educating others, or do you want to just benefit for yourself? And all of these things can only be known through your writing. That is why your statement of purpose is very important. What you write in your statement of purpose is very important. Your extracurricular activities are things that will give you more advantage in the Global Career Scholarship. So for those who failed last time, or in case it happens that you fail, I'm not praying that you should fail, but for the 1 year that you'll be waiting, because this scholarship comes only once a year, which is why you should take into account other scholarships that I provide on my channel. If you've not yet subscribed, you should consider subscribing, because I always post different scholarships on my channel. You might not really have to wait for 1 year to apply again for the Global Career Scholarship when there are other scholarships in the channel that you can take advantage of. For the 1 year period that you would be waiting, if you decide that you want to wait for another 1 year to apply for the Global Career Scholarship, make sure that you gain some experience. For example, enroll in a Korean language class, take the topic, that's test in Korean language proficiency test, get a topic certificate, spend money also to write English language proficiency exams. Try to volunteer, try to do something that will increase your chances. For example, there are a lot of South Korean online communities where you can serve. There are cultural centers owned by South Korean in different countries that you can go there and apply to serve. All of those things will increase your chances. Don't just sit and wait until the following year. Keep on doing something, because those things you would have to prove your merit through statement of purpose by writing some of those things and convincing them that you have a heart to serve. Despite the fact that things might be difficult for you, you're trying to make sure you serve others. Those are the things that they want to see in your documents. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This video has been very long. I'll provide more content on how to go about winning the Global Korea Scholarship. That being said, see you in the next one. Do not forget to subscribe and do not forget to like the video. Bye bye.